McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Paul is one of the veteran guys in the room who no doubt endured 4-game losing streaks before. What do you say to the group that, as Andrew Kopp just told us, confidence is shaken right now?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to go through these throughout the year. I'm sure every other team's already gone through a 4-game losing streak. We hadn't. But it's not about the 4-game losing streak. I think it's the way we've been playing for, 10, 15, 20 games. And sometimes we got away with it. And then when you get away with it, you think you're playing well, you're not playing well. And then sometimes Helly stood on his head and saved us. And some, people don't notice that. But, you're around a lot of teams who've been around the game for a while, like I have. I can tell when we're playing good, when we're not playing good. When we have the bounces and we don't have the bounces. And, tonight wasn't even half bad. I mean, the score house was bad. But, if you look at the first half when it was, 2-0 or 3-0, we weren't playing that bad. A couple of bad, turnovers or little mistakes, and they put them back in our net. But that's just a long time coming. And without Telly out to dry, as we have a lot lately, so that's embarrassing on our behalf. And then, we got to take a look at ourselves and know what works and know what doesn't work, and kind of have a game plan and simplify it. And, get away from the whole plays, get away from trying to do too much, know who you're out there against, know who you're playing against. And if you have to adjust to certain guys, to certain teams, then you got to be willing to do that if we want to win.
We'll go next to Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Thanks, Gregor. I was going to ask specifically about what Edmonton's been able to do, not just to create off their rush, but to shut down your rush. But I'm actually really curious about this idea that it's been a long stretch of games for you guys. And I guess I'm wondering how those two things maybe go together.
Yeah, I think honestly, when we're not scoring, a lot of times it's what we're doing ourselves, and that's always a good problem. I think we know what we can do, within our group to create more chances. But when you're playing a team like Edmonton, they do a good job of kind of, clearing the net front, and Smitty sees a lot of those shots. But especially against them, I think they do such a good job of kind of collapsing, in front of their net, and giving up the point shots. And that's where we got to compete and get in front of the net and try to get those second chances, because they do a good job of trying to really kill that play behind the goal line. And sometimes, that's what we're good at, but that's where we got to make adjustments against them, because different teams play different defensively, and then what that does is it feeds their transition. And so sometimes you get a little frustrated. You try to force these plays through the crease or these nice plays. They get picked off, they get blocked, and they go back down, and, they're a fast transition team. So when you play them, we got to know it's going to be a patient game. It's not going to be a run and gun game, especially this time of year. Maybe early in the year, it could have gone run and gun. There's a few games that are high scoring, but I feel the second half of the season, Edmonton's really clamped down. They don't give up as much, or they don't give up as much second or third chances. And, they're a good transition team. So we know it's going to be, playoff-like when we play them, every time now. And if we play them in playoffs, so we got to be ready for that and be ready to play a patient game.
We'll go next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Paul, that's 5 straight against Edmonton now, losses. And you mentioned you may see them in the playoffs. How much of a mental edge do they have on you right now? And how important is it to break that before playoff time?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a mental edge. I think, some games, they took it to us. Some games, we played better. Some games have been really close. And so that's the way we look at it. Like I said, I think when we play, where we play in our division, we're playing our best. It's not who we're playing against, it's what we're doing. And I've said this before, and I'm a big believer. And if you can dictate, they have a game plan, we have a game plan. We want to dictate what we want to do. And like I said, we got to be aware when McDavid's out there, Draisaitl's out there, because obviously those guys are world-class players that only need one chance to score a goal. And so, if you got to sacrifice a little offense to help out our defense, sometimes we have to. And like I said, special teams are going to be a difference, come close games, and that special teams is going to be a difference. But, any night like this, when you give up that one breakaway goal, couple 2-on-1 goals, odd man rushes, a lot of odd man rushes, and you're going to give them up, which is fine. But I think we got to get back. I think we got to help out our D. Our forwards got to get back. And then when we do get back, we do, collapse at the net, keep things to the outside, then we make it a lot tougher to get scored on. And that's got to be our mindset. And like I said, sometimes when you're not winning, then all of a sudden everyone's gripping a little bit. Everyone's trying to do either a little nervous out there, or guys are trying to do a little too much. And that's when you got to get back to basics and kind of stick with the fundamentals and do those little things. So eventually those will work. And whether you get awarded now, whether you're awarded in playoffs, they're going to come, and that's what we got to stick with, and that's what we got to believe.
Final question to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Thanks, Gregor. Paul, when you talk about the 10 or 15 game stretch you saw this coming, why are we at the stage where your game or your results at least seem to be worsening rather than turning around and getting better?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think because we're getting away with it. So when you're winning games, you forget the bad plays and you just remember what went in and the outcome of the game. And, you know, when that happens, I think, like I said, you kind of get away with it, and you're playing every other day. Throughout the season, it's kind of like these mini series, right? So every time you play a team, play them 2 times or 3 times, you're kind of so focused on that, and then you turn a page and kind of forget, who you played last time, and now it's a new team. But like I said, it's more of us players, holding each other accountable, because it's everybody. It's not just certain guys. Like, everybody's got a little cheat in their game, and we got to be more honest. We're more honest with ourselves, especially this time of year. I think it's going to be harder. That's fine, and you never want to go through a stretch where nothing goes bad. If it's too easy, then that's dangerous, because all of a sudden you hit a speed bump, and all of a sudden, you're shell shocked, and before you know it's over. So, maybe this is good. It's happening now, but like I said, it's not going to change right away. But if it's next game or the game after that, I think we got to get back to figuring out the fundamentals that we've created as our identity on this team, and get back to it and kind of stick with it. And then, a lot of cliches here, but that's just how it is sometimes. It's not getting too worried about that end result, and just focusing on whether it's period by period or just 5-minute segments, and then, being there to support each other and helping out each other on the ice.
Thanks very much, Paul. We'll get going with Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.